And the second fight of the night here, we got at 135 pounds between Hailey, Cowan, and Ailin Perez. In my opinion, both these girls kind of fight similar. When you look at both of them, they're both big for the weight. Perez has quite a few fights at 145. Cowan is ripped up and she's very strong, tall, athletic. For 135 too, she easily could fight at 145, I believe, also. And they like to use the grappling, push against the cage, use their size, get girls tired, and control them from the top position. I feel like Perez is a little more skilled. I think her striking has, in the past, not looked very good, and I think Cowan used to have the better striking, just out pure athleticism. Cowan, to me, her striking is a little bit weak. I think that she has good check hooks and good kicks, but there's not a lot of variance there with her striking. Her defense isn't good, and she just overall doesn't really like to stay on the feet, doesn't seem too comfortable at range, where Perez, I think she's getting a little bit more comfortable with staying outside, throwing kicks, throwing combinations, and she's getting a little bit better with her striking at MMA Masters. She, in her last fight, was pressuring and doing decent with the striking, but she just couldn't get out of the habit of working her way into the clinch, where she was at a disadvantage against a judo girl, and she ended up getting submitted in that one. And Perez has a lot of, she has a lot of something to fight here for. I mean, she went in her last fight and she was talking a lot of shit, and she didn't back it up. So the pressure's on her now to perform here against Cowan and not go 0-2 in the UFC. She's at 135. The last fight was at 45. So no excuses, and now is the time for her to go in there and get it done. But how I see this fight kind of going down is I think it's going to end up being a wrestling, grappling type of fight, even though I think Perez might have a slight advantage on the feet. Cowan is the longer girl. They're both going to want to engage in the clinch, and they're going to end up meeting in the middle. Neither of them have really that distance control or any ability to strike a range for long periods of time, in my opinion. They both want to get it to the clinch, and I think that Cowan early is going to be the stronger girl. She's going to be able to hold Perez against the cage, maybe get Perez down. But what Perez has is the better grappling, in my opinion. I think she could scramble. I think off bottom, she's superior. She's decent at working her way back up to her feet. I think Cowan, with her get-up game, when she gets put on her back, it's pretty weak. I think she can get put in dominant positions as well. She has been submitted in the past. So I think if Perez gets on top, she's going to have the better chance of potentially submitting. But early on, Cowan, when she gets on top herself, is really effective with ground and pound, big elbows. But she can start to lose position, get tired, and her cardio kind of starts to slow down midway through that second round. So for Perez, I think that she just has to try to push this pace, and she can't just let Cowan stall whole rounds, pushing her against a cage or getting her to the ground and holding her on top and throwing elbows. And she doesn't want to be on bottom with Cowan, because Cowan has big elbows from the top position. Her submission game isn't really that great, but she will do damage with the ground and pound, slow girls down. She's really big, good top control, good pressure, and that's where she wants to be. But if you can put her on her back, she gets really tired, she makes mistakes, and that's where Perez could start to take over. I think Perez, I just feel like she's going to come in here with a chip on her shoulder, and I think she's going to fight a little bit harder, and I see that being the difference in the fight. I think both these girls are really, really close skill-wise. I feel like Cowan is the better athlete, probably stronger, but Perez is more conditioned. I think she's probably going to be the girl that puts out a little bit more, and I think Cowan's going to start out hot early. She's going to maybe get a takedown or some cage control, but I think as the fight goes on, Perez is going to start to boss the fight, pressure, get Cowan in the clinch, start to control there a little bit, maybe get a takedown, get on top. And I wouldn't be shocked if Perez got a late finish in this one, but I'm going to go with Ailin Perez to get the slight upset, win this fight by decision.